Hello, everyone. When Mother Nature gets angry, everything can change in an instant. A downpour, a tornado, or a sudden tremor is all it takes to throw an entire city into chaos. Have you ever imagined how you'd react if you found yourself in that moment? Let's dive into the raw and heart-pounding situations that follow. What seemed like a peaceful morning on the Badrinath Highway suddenly turned into a tense and terrifying moment as massive rocks came crashing down from the mountainside. A video captured the scene as workers immediately abandoned their tasks and ran downhill within seconds. Thanks to early detection, a tragedy was avoided. When the ground suddenly began to shake, a preschool classroom plunged into chaos in an instant. Without hesitation, the teachers rushed to hug their students and guide them to safety. Though the earthquake lasted only a few dozen seconds, it served as a powerful reminder that calmness and quick response can make all the difference in an emergency. A strong gust of wind swept through an outdoor market, blowing away canopies and scattering fruit and vegetable stalls in every direction. Panic spread as people ran to secure their goods and seek shelter amid the chaos. When the weather becomes unpredictable, pausing outdoor activities and moving to a safe place is always the wiser choice. A sudden earthquake struck a phone store, causing merchandise to fall and shatter while customers panicked. As the ground shook, people quickly crouched down, shielded their heads, and moved toward the safest nearby spot. Even a few seconds of timely reaction can greatly reduce the risk in an unexpected situation like this. A landslide near Namtawipui village in Longley district, Mizoram, caused a frightening moment for passers-by. At first, one person paused to observe the shifting earth, but within seconds, rocks and soil came crashing down, forcing him to run backward to avoid being hit. A swirling white funnel appeared in the middle of a residential area, heading straight toward a gas station, leaving everyone breathless. Many people stopped to record it, unaware that a single shift in wind direction could make the situation dangerously unpredictable. When nature strikes, safety must always come first. Never risk it just to capture the moment. Giant waves from a tsunami surged into a coastal city in Japan, sweeping away rooftops, vehicles, and everything in their path. The water rose so rapidly that entire neighborhoods were submerged within minutes. When a tsunami warning is issued, early evacuation and moving to higher ground are critical for survival. Never delay to watch or return for belongings. A violent ocean storm tossed a ship between towering white-capped waves that rose like walls. Visibility vanished as strong winds and crashing seawater pounded the deck, creating an atmosphere of extreme tension out at sea. When traveling by sea, monitoring weather forecasts and steering clear of low-pressure zones is essential to ensure a safe journey. A house perched on the riverbank, once thought to be stable, couldn't withstand the fierce pull of the floodwaters. In just a few minutes, the entire structure was swept away and shattered into pieces by the muddy current. When living near rivers or at the base of mountains, every construction and activity must be carefully planned, as nature can shift without warning. A sudden gust of wind ripped a massive metal roof into the air, lifting the entire steel sheet skyward to the shock of everyone nearby. Just moments earlier, it was a sturdy cover. Now it had become a dangerous object flying through the sky. When winds begin to pick up, it's crucial to stay away from loose materials and find safe shelter without hesitation. The largest off-season rainfall in 2 decades submerged many streets in Ho Chi Minh City under a sea of water. The fast-moving current swept away motorbikes, belongings, and brought traffic to a standstill. One woman could only watch helplessly as her motorbike drifted through the floodwaters beyond her reach. A massive dust storm engulfed the cities of Al Qasim and Riyadh, swallowing the sky and covering every street in a thick blanket of haze. Residents rushed for shelter as visibility dropped to near zero. In such extreme conditions, the most important action is to seal doors, shut off ventilation systems, and avoid going outside to protect your health. A sudden dust devil formed in the middle of an outdoor campsite, sending tents, gear, and folding chairs spinning into the air. Campers panicked and fled as the powerful gust lifted everything like it had been. On May 15, 2023, a massive tornado appeared over Santa Maria Techachalco, pulling dust and debris into a towering black funnel. Locals could only watch from a distance in growing concern as the powerful vortex moved closer to the residential area. In situations like this, finding solid shelter quickly is the only way to stay safe. A strong tornado swept through a neighborhood, tearing roofs from homes and sending debris flying into the air in an instant. The wind howled nonstop, lifting objects as if they weighed nothing, creating a scene that was both chaotic and terrifying. When a tornado strikes, nothing matters more than finding safe shelter as quickly as possible. A fierce wildfire is spreading across southeastern Arizona, devouring trees and threatening homes near the forest's edge. The sky is thick with gray smoke, while towering flames consume everything in their path. In prolonged dry and hot conditions, even a small spark can explode into disaster. Fire prevention and vigilance are absolutely essential. In a split second, icy water and mud came crashing down into a crowded area from above. Some people continued trying to move their belongings, unaware of how quickly the flood was approaching. Complacency can leave us with no time to react when nature turns violent. Hurricane Ian, with winds reaching up to 250 kilometers per hour, submerged large parts of Florida in floodwaters, sweeping away cars, trees, and rooftops. The view from balconies showed nothing but water, debris, and panic. When nature unleashes such force, early evacuation is the only way to stay safe. Two cars were swept away and left stranded near the roadside during a flood in the United States. The rushing water pushed the vehicles off course, tilting them toward the muddy current. Fortunately, no one was harmed in this situation. Only property was damaged. During heavy rain, it's best to avoid deeply flooded areas to reduce unnecessary risks. A strong stream of water mixed with mud and debris surged through the streets of La Guaira, Caracas, Venezuela. The powerful flow dragged everything in its path, turning the roads into chaos within minutes. Thankfully, no one was harmed, though property and vehicles were carried off by the current. A heavy downpour caused localized flooding in this area, toppling trees and sending water across the road surface. Several vehicles had to stop, unable to pass through the flooded zone. Fortunately, no one was harmed. Only trees and property were affected. A sudden whirlwind swept through the area, lifting objects off the streets and creating total chaos. Signs, boxes, and canopies flew through the air amid heavy rain, damaging several vehicles. Fortunately, no one was harmed. When strong winds pick up unexpectedly, the safest move is to seek shelter immediately and stay away from loose or flying objects. A flash flood roared into a residential area like a raging beast, tearing up pavement, uprooting trees, and demolishing anything in its path. Mud and debris swirled violently through the streets, turning the entire area into a churning, heavy stream. Houses stood just meters from the rushing water, leaving onlookers breathless. White hailstones pelted the garden in Montemarsa like cannon fire, turning a peaceful summer day into a chaotic, freezing moment. The ground turned white, trees were battered, and the sound of hail hitting the earth echoed like a fierce symphony of nature. In just minutes, a tranquil backyard was transformed into a frozen battleground. Roads turned into rivers as heavy rain poured down, paralyzing traffic and forcing vehicles to move as if swimming through floodwaters. This image is a powerful reminder of nature's unpredictable force and the importance of being prepared when the weather takes a turn for the worse. Floodwaters covered the streets of Kumasi, Ghana, turning the neighborhood into a vast sea of red mud. This scene revealed the full severity of the storm as daily life came to a complete halt. When nature gets angry, even a single downpour can bring an entire city to a standstill. Do you think this is a gentle reminder or a harsh lesson nature is trying to teach us? Floodwaters surged through the streets of Maryland after relentless downpours, sweeping along mud, rocks, and debris. The drainage system couldn't keep up, leaving several areas submerged in chaos. This is a powerful reminder of the growing impact of climate change and the importance of being prepared for nature's unpredictability. Strong wind gusts combined with heavy rain shook everything in the backyard, bending trees and tearing metal sheets off the roof. This moment reveals the undeniable strength of nature. When the weather turns volatile, the safest choice is to stay indoors and keep clear of anything that might fall. A thunderstorm with heavy rain ripped open the roof of a storage shed, exposing the sky above. The wind was so powerful it scattered items inside, creating total chaos. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but it's a clear warning that nature can turn in an instant. A heavy downpour caused localized flooding in this area, toppling trees and sending water across the road surface. Several vehicles had to stop, unable to pass through the flooded zone. Fortunately, no one was harmed. Only trees and property were affected.